Hey everybody, um, it's me, your instructor, Ari Albright, and in this recording, I just wanted to thank you for um, your posts, solving that video upload question, and writing out your answers for us to start to get to know you. I was super pleased by many things that I saw from the class. Certainly the enthusiasm and the interest for the field of arts and health. Um, and I like that people's personalities are already starting to shine through. Um, you'd be surprised at how much enthusiasm is part of our role in supporting health with others. So that's fun. It's a place where we can bring our personality and our good nature while we're learning. Is quite a broad group. Cameron from Idaho. I like that there's a lot of variety in your classmates. Medical science, finance. There's a couple of you, Rosemary and Pat, that have a tremendous amount of art education, art making experience, and even mental health counseling. Some folks that are close by, as near as Elk Point or in Vermilion. And I wasn't sure, Tasha, if you are still in Arkansas or if you're here um, in Vermilion taking classes face to face. Some of you already know that you're interested in pursuing this certificate, which is exciting. And others, it looks like you bring dance, you bring writing, you bring visual arts, and there's a general curiosity. And that's exactly what this class is for, to give you a broad overview of what's going on in arts and health, which is uh, compatible with the art therapies, creative art therapies, but unique. It's a unique track. And so much of what we talk about when we sort of drill down into the white paper that was created by the National Organization for Arts and Health, which is one of our next readings, is the distinction between the types of work that different practitioners do and what the professional boundaries are of our roles. But like I said before, we begin at the beginning. And there's a few of you, I've extended the deadline because I did not see the video or the introductory responses yet. And I want to make sure that we all have a place where we can go to remind ourselves who we're sharing our time with. I hope that makes sense. So that's why I thought I'd jump back on the video and say, um, welcome again. It was really, really heartwarming to see your videos. That's the first time I've asked that of a class, but it connects us so much quicker when we can see mannerisms and inflection of the voice and our faces. And some of these projects are ready. I mean, I hope I can do you justice. There's some real creativity already shining through. Uh, and like I said before, a sense of humor. So again, thanks for being here. Um, what I wanted to do today, as I'm visiting with you, is to have a very preliminary art exercise that I'd like you to do along with listening to this video. And that'll take place in just a minute. But before that, I know some of you have taken the time to, excuse me, taken the time to watch that YouTube video from the Arts and Medicine program at the University of Florida at Shands, and they are in many sense the word the leaders of arts and health field in this country. And I trained with them for a brief period of time as a visiting artist when I was first starting out running my own program here at Sanford Vermillion Medical Center. And this is my 7th year, primarily supporting the geriatric community that they serve with advanced dementia and special needs. And certainly the program has spread out over the past 6 years to include assisted living, long-term care, clinics, hospital, and even their permanent collection. So as we, explore a little bit of the history of arts and health and some of the main focuses in the coming weeks, I hope that you're keeping your ears open for the areas that spark your interest, because those are the types of themes that I would like you to develop and explore during this semester. But in addition to watching that video, you also I've read an article, and now the discussion questions are up for you to respond, not only to my questions, but also to each other's posts. So email me if there's any ambiguity, but I think that's pretty clear. And the last thing I wanted to mention before we do our art exercise is the brochure for the Arts and Health Certificate program that I uploaded on this week's end. And it's a little bit last minute, but I co-teach with an art therapist. And originally I designed a single arts and in healthcare course. And from that, we've developed this certificate program. And because it's a new field to our region, it was part of our strategy to collaborate with an art therapist so that as we were developing these courses, we had the benefit of a fine artist, which is my background, and an art therapist creating the curricula. And I say that because Ali Bond is the other instructor in our certificate program, is currently teaching the second course, Art 415, 515, Populations, Multiculturalism, and Ethics. And this is last minute, but if any of you think you should also have that class at the same time, enrollment is still allowed through today. And she professionally has been, what is that called? She's had an offer of advancement, and I believe this will be the last semester that she teaches the 2 courses, and replacement faculty will be in place by next fall. She's a dynamite young, mover and shaker, so if you have any extra ambition that you want to add this arts and health course, she brings a lot to the table as an art therapist, especially as it relates to the ethics of the work. Okay, so that's the plug. And as I look over this very brand new brochure, know that it was printed last year, and some of my former students, when I look at the pictures, they helped me lay it out, and now several of them are working for me or other healthcare institutions in our region. And that's what's exciting. By no means do I want to train people just for the sake of sharing knowledge. If that's what it turns out to be for you, beautiful. But there are some that are going to be touched by this work, and it'll resonate, and I want to make sure that they're and I don't have all the power, but that we continue to create sites and work opportunities in our region and nationally for those that go through the certificate program. So that's the one plug. There's a lot of great definitions in what does the program look like, what are some of the qualities, and of course, contact information on that brochure. The last thing I'll say about the way that the certificate program was laid out is that I teach the survey, Arts and Health, which is what you're currently taking now, and materials use and safety. And they alternate between fall and spring semester. Whereas Allie is currently teaching every spring, or has been, the Art 415 Populations, Multiculturalism, and Ethics, and the internship, which is of the 4 classes. The internship is the one that needs to be face-to-face or with a designated site, a healthcare facility that's in contract, has an agreement of understanding with the University of South Dakota and a trained supervisor on site to support that internship. Otherwise, the 3 classes, the survey, the ethics, and the materials use and safety, we are working towards bringing to you fully online, which makes it exciting. So if you have any questions, be sure and contact me. If you have any interest in the populations course this semester, please contact the Art Department Chair, Corey Nedler, ASAP. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you've done this exercise with me somewhere, because I speak from time to time to communities and at conferences, just go along with me and join us again. If you haven't done this exercise, all you'll need is a piece of paper and something to write with, preferably a pen or a pencil. And if you want to pause this recording now to get those supplies, I'll wait a second before I begin. Okay, good. Welcome back. All you need to do to start this project with me is have your single piece of paper handy and something to write with. And I'll ask you to follow directions and wait till the end before we assess this. Okay, so paper on your head, and it stays there, and pencil in your hand. What I'd like you to do is draw a trunk of a tree on your page, which is kind of like 2 parallel lines, 2 lines sort of wide and next to each other. We'll keep the paper on our head the whole time. And once you have the trunk of the tree, I'd like you to make a few branches at the top, which are also parallel lines or lines next to each other. Only they get thinner and they sort of taper off into points. You're doing good. Making your branches, your trunk. Now what I'd like you to do is go to the base of the tree, that trunk, and draw in some grass. Now, if you're out here in the Midwest, you could put some sweetgrass, tall, blowing grass in the wind. That's a little bit more West River. Or you could make short lawn, highly groomed, short little marks. of grass at the bottom. Very good. What I'd like you to do next with your drawing is to go back to the top of the tree and make an outside edge of where the foliage or the leaves are. Now, sometimes in children's drawings, you might see little curve or scoop, or you could make jagged lines if you wanted to make it a pine tree, but just some kind of outside edge to the tree foliage or greens. We're almost halfway through. You're doing great. Okay, back in the tree, I'd like you to put 5 lemons. And lemons, you'll draw those out medium size in your tree. They're like ovals with points on the end, like footballs almost. 5 of those, please. And I'd like you next to go back into the grass and draw 2 dollar bill signs, which are S's, right? With the 2 parallel lines. We need 2 of those. And I'm going to pause because we're almost done with our drawing. Last thing, please. I'd like you to go back up to the top of the tree and shade in 3 of those lemons. And shading in, we're talking about just making dark marks to fill those in as best as you can, not looking, keeping your pencil moving, and voila, you're welcome to look at your drawing. And I hope you got a little bit of a laugh out of that. But there's some reasoning sometimes. I've done this lemon tree exercise with hundreds of people, from youngest to very old. And with your permission, I would like you to take a photograph. This is another technology challenge or exercise for those of you that are completely fluid in it. Take a photograph of your drawing and then upload it to the Dropbox that I've created, which is a general portfolio for you to put in assignments throughout the semester. And with your permission, I've been photographing these lemon tree drawings, making the idea ultimately is to have a film of sort of a flip book, you know, all these different versions of lemon tree. And here's the last thing I want you to do after you've uploaded the photograph. I want you to write out in a document, and it can be somewhat informal, the answer to these questions. So could you name 3 things that you noticed about the way that I, quote, facilitated that art project? The way that I communicated information. It could be about my voice, my face, the instructions. So much of this work is about being sensitive to your environment and communication. So I would like to hear 3 things that you noticed about this process. And the second question that I would like you to answer before in a document and then uploading in the Dropbox with your drawing is name 3 things. Oh, I just got tangled. Why would I do this? Why would I do this exercise with you and with others? Name 3 things or 3 reasons why this would be a project that would be valuable to people. What are the 3 things that you notice are happening in this exercise? The good news is it's about your perception. And I look forward to seeing all of it. Let's have these turned in by um, Wednesday of next week, please. Thank you. I look forward to hearing more from you in the discussion.